Breaking news right now following live pictures out of Minnesota. We're going to show you this live picture. It is shaky. We don't have control over this camera, but we have just learned that the National Guard is now on the ground in Minneapolis. Again, this is from one of our affiliates, which is why it's shaky. You see the reporter there getting ready for his live report, but you see the smoke there billowing in the background. And again, we know that the National Guard is now on the ground in Minneapolis. This, of course, as the unrest in Minneapolis continues to escalate. Last night, we can tell you that a Minneapolis police station went up in flames as the outrage continues over the death of George Floyd. The president also weighing in, calling the protesters thugs on Twitter, and a powerful response from Minneapolis's mayor.
Weakness is refusing to take responsibility for your own actions. Weakness is pointing your finger at somebody else during a time of crisis. Donald Trump knows nothing about the strength of Minneapolis. We are strong as hell. Is this a difficult time period? Yes, but you better be sure that we're gonna get through this.
We are breaking down all the breaking developments here at Fox 46.
And violent protests breaking out in Louisville as well, now demanding justice for Breonna Taylor, a black woman that was killed in her own home. The family now urging protesters to demonstrate peacefully.
And welcome in here to Good Day Charlotte on Fox 46, the final hour, and things are happening so fast out of Minneapolis. We continue to do everything that we can. I'm Brigida Mack, Jason Harper, and Nick Koser here in studio with me. Paige working from home. Chuck will also join us in a moment, but we have to get back to that breaking news coming out of Minnesota. It's a lot. Stay with us. We just learned the CNN crew that police arrested about 6 o'clock this morning got released about 20 minutes ago. This video you're looking at here directly from CNN at the time of this incident. The crew, the reporter and cameraman, arrested while covering the protests live on air this morning. Correspondent Omar Jimenez is the one there being placed into handcuffs. This happened as he gave a report. Police say they arrested the crew because they told him to move and they didn't. However, Jimenez could be seen holding his CNN badge, identifying himself as a reporter. He told the officers the crew would move wherever the officers needed them to do so. The officer then gripped his arm as he talked and put him in the handcuffs, as you saw there. All of this in response to the violence that is erupting, not just in Minneapolis, but across the country in the wake of what happened to George Floyd. Multiple reports of fires and gunfire. Fox's Ashley Stromier has the latest on this national outcry.
It's been way too many times where we've had to peacefully protest.
Nationwide outrage is swelling over George Floyd's death. Protesters swarming the streets of Minneapolis for a third night on Thursday, with several buildings going up in flames. The city's mayor speaking out about the protests early Friday morning.
What we have seen over the past several hours and the past couple of nights in terms of looting is unacceptable.
The violence boiling over into other major cities. In Denver, a driver nearly runs over a man in the street. He escapes unharmed and a crowd of people sprint after the car. Nearby, shots were fired outside the state capitol. They can be heard during an interview with a protester.
How important do you think it is, though, to have these rallies and protests?
Dozens of people duck and run for cover as police rush across the street in search of a shooter. In New York, authorities arrested more than 40 people during a solidarity protest there. The peaceful demonstration eventually turned physical, with some protesters launching water bottles at police. One woman repeatedly screams "Black Lives Matter" as two officers drag her into custody.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! I don't care! I can't breathe!
Police also clashing with protesters in Columbus, Ohio. Demonstrators chanting and holding signs reading "Justice for George Floyd." At one point, an officer fires pepper spray to disperse the crowd, but many people stood their ground.
That was Ashley Stromier reporting. We can also tell you that the National Guard is there on the ground. We know more than 500 of those National Guard troops now in Minnesota.
We are following this breaking news at the top of the hour. One Duke Energy worker has died while working on a power line in northwest Charlotte this morning. We know part of North Hoskins Road is closed. OSHA is investigating right now. Fox 46's Jamal Goss live on the scene with the latest developments. Jamal.
Paige, right now, police are on scene investigating after Fox 46 saw what appeared to be a utility worker being electrocuted and then catching on fire. Medic has confirmed that one person did die on scene. I want to give you a live look now at the scene because this has been a very tragic moment for people who live nearby and for Duke Energy crews working on a power pole near here. Crews were working to repair a power pole around 5:30 this morning after someone ran into it earlier. Fox 46 saw what appeared to have been a Duke Energy worker who fell back from the pole moments after an explosion happened. We believe it's a Duke Energy worker, but we are still working to have that confirmed. Right now, as you mentioned, a portion of North Hoskins Road is blocked up between Beatty's Ford Road and Tennessee Avenue. We also know that about 500 people are without power, and right now crews are working to restore power lines. Reporting live this morning, I'm Jamal Goss, Fox 46, getting results.
Remembering George Floyd, hundreds of family members, friends, and activists said their final goodbye after a powerful message is delivered from the legendary Reverend Al Sharpton.
And if we're right, he'll fight our battle, and we'll put George's name in history, where they say that's the one that they shouldn't have touched.
And after that powerful homegoing, a march on Washington, we've learned, has now been set to be held the same day Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech.
Right now, some major Georgia companies are pushing to pass hate crime legislation in the wake of Ahmaud Arbery's death. And closer to home now, Governor Roy Cooper signs a new executive order. It aims to put an end to racial inequality in the state's criminal justice system.
Plus, a powerful message painted in the heart of Uptown Charlotte. Fox 46 is live in Uptown this morning, where a Black Lives Matter street mural is on full display.
Good morning. You're watching Fox 46. Good Day Charlotte.
Welcome in here to the final hour of Good Day Charlotte on this Wednesday, June 10th. I'm Brigida Mack.
Good morning, everyone. Jason Harper here. Paige Phelan working from home. We'll get to Chuck Rhodes with your traffic here in just a bit, and we'll also hear from Nick on this muggy Wednesday in just a second. But we are following some breaking news right now. Just into our newsroom, the Washington Post is reporting that the RNC is expected to move to Jacksonville, Florida, at least the celebratory part. The Republican National Convention has been set, of course, to be here in the Queen City coming up in August. Reports indicate Jacksonville, Florida is the top contender. Other cities that have been touted to host that the president was looking into: Savannah, Georgia, and Phoenix, Arizona. And we will keep it here on Fox 46 throughout the day. And as some of those details start to kind of become more clear, we'll pass those along to you. All right, speaking of clear, meteorologist Nick Koser getting results for you outside. Hasn't been the clearest of all mornings, just kind of muggy out there.
Yeah, you know, we'll see some clearing taking place, it looks like tomorrow afternoon once a cold front pushes through. But we still have a little ways to go and maybe even some severe weather before that happens. Not much going on out there right now, but you see this line kind of marching our way. It's all out ahead of and with this cold front that we've been talking about all week long. And that front finally makes it in tonight into tomorrow, and that will begin the process of some change. Temps are on the way up. A lot of low 70s over the last couple of hours. Charlotte 74, Gastonia 74, Lancaster 75, same with Monroe. Hickory coming in at a 73. So yeah, definitely muggy out there, and you will feel it as soon as you walk out. Scattered storms then heading into later on this afternoon. And typically here over the last couple of days anyway, when the sun goes down, we lose some heating of the day, and a lot of those, not all of them, but a lot of those showers and storms have faded overnight. So we've gotten off to quieter mornings, but I think even heading into Thursday morning, we'll see some showers and storms around as we'll keep that energy in overnight as the front moves through. So again, mostly cloudy, warm, and humid today. Afternoon showers and storms, and a few severe storms possible out there for today as this cold front going to stir things up a little bit more so than the last few days. So we'll get to all of this here between now and 8:30. Your 7-day is right around the corner. So stick around for that. Right now at 8:03, let's get it back over to Jason Harper.
Breaking news this morning, 2 people have been arrested in a Gastonia homicide. Marshawn Sanders and Ashley Abernathy, both from Shelby, have been charged with the murder and attempted murder of Eric Glenn. This happened on Lowell Bethesda Road Tuesday night near the Inco Express. Glenn was taken to the hospital where he later died. The suspects are due in court later today. Also happening today, George Floyd's brother is set to testify before Congress during a House Judiciary Committee hearing on policing practices and law enforcement accountability. The House is considering many proposals that could make it easier to prosecute and sue officers, ban federal officers from using chokeholds, and create a national registry for police violations. It's not clear if Floyd will testify in person or virtually. That's all happening just a day after George Floyd's funeral.
And Jason, some 500 people attended the final farewell in a private funeral in Houston, Texas. The Reverend Al Sharpton delivered the eulogy yesterday and called on leaders to defeat systemic issues that are impacting our nation.
Because you've touched the world. And as we lay you to rest today, the movement won't rest until we get justice, until we have one standard of justice. Your family's gonna miss you.
Reverend Sharpton also announced a march on Washington with Floyd's family. That's set to happen August 28th. That date is especially significant because Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech in Washington on that same day back in 1963. And during Floyd's homegoing, a speed artist did his part to remember him. Take a look. Ange Hills painted Floyd's portrait as singers performed on stage, all part of an emotional tribute. It only took Hills 3 minutes to finish that portrait.
New this morning, major Georgia corporations, including Coca-Cola, Delta, and Home Depot, are all calling on lawmakers to pass a hate crime legislation in the wake of Ahmaud Arbery's death. The bill would allow stiffer sentences for anyone convicted of targeting a victim based on their race, color, religion, gender, sexual orientation, mental disability, or physical disability. Right now, there's a push for a Confederate statue to be removed in Gaston County. Fox 46's Jamal Goss is live from outside the courthouse with more. Jamal.
Jason, Gaston County deputies are on scene guarding the Confederate monument. It sits on the lawn at the Gaston County Courthouse, and officials have been protecting it as it continues to cause an uproar here in the community. And this morning, caution tape is still up. This was the scene last night, too, when protesters were here. Members from the Gaston Freedom Fighters lined the yellow caution tape that officials put up, and for several hours, protesters held signs that read, "End inequality" and "No justice, no peace." Protesters demanded the Confederate statue be removed and placed in a museum. The monument was given to the courthouse as a gift in 1912 from the United States Daughters of the Confederacy and Children of Confederacy. A Confederate soldier is at the top of the monument and overlooks Martin Luther King Jr. Way. And just across the street is a statue that honors the late civil rights activist Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Protesters believe the Confederate monument is an insult, and that's why they protested. And activists have tried to put in actions to remove or have the statue removed 3 times now. Meanwhile, people who want to see it here says it's a part of the county's history. Reporting live this morning in Gaston County, I'm Jamal Goss, Fox 46, getting results.
It was a beautiful and powerful sight. Artists came together to create a massive Black Lives Matter mural in Uptown Charlotte. Our Amber Roberts is live along Tryon Street, where it's located, with a look at the finished product. Amber.
Brigida, people have been stopping by all morning to take a look at this beautiful artwork. 16 letters spread out across Uptown Charlotte. BLACKLIVESMATTER. It spells out Black Lives Matter. 17 artists from the Charlotte area came together to create this beautiful work of art. It's located on Tryon Street between 3rd and 4th Streets. Tryon Street is one of the most used roads in Charlotte. It's located in the heart of Uptown. The work of art coming after more than a week of protest in Charlotte in response to the killing of George Floyd. The painting is bright and bold in color, and it sends out a loud message. That message being that social injustice is wrong. Those walking and driving by this morning have been taking pictures of the final product and engaging in conversations about race and equality. The city of Charlotte gave the okay to this project and helped shut down the street on Tuesday to give artists full access to the road. I've spoken to a number of people this morning who have been out here, and they are just impressed with all of the letters out here. I wanted to point out one of my favorite. This is the letter E in the lives of this message. It reads right here, "I will continue to fight against the systematic oppression of my people." Charlotte is one of many cities across the country that have this type of artwork in their streets. Those other cities include Raleigh, North Carolina, and Washington, D.C. Live this morning in Uptown Charlotte, I'm Amber Roberts, Fox 46, getting results.
A local photographer is getting results now and giving people a reason to smile amid the pandemic and the protests. Fox 46's Ann Wyatt Little is live with what he's doing for other folks. Good morning, Ann Wyatt.
Well, good morning, Jason. Photographer Chris Jenkins is offering his skills to people who are out of work and looking for a job by taking a free headshot for them. Now, this all started with a phone call Jenkins received from a man who was in need of a new headshot but just could not afford the going rate of $150. It was out of the man's budget. So Jenkins said to himself, I'm going to put myself in his shoes. So that's how he came up with the idea. And on Monday, June 15th, he's offering free professional headshots. The minority-owned Charlotte Vibe Photography has been in business now for 14 years. The pandemic brought his bookings to almost a complete stop. And after watching the death of George Floyd and the protests, Jenkins says he wanted to do something positive.
As things are going on, you think about how can I help? And when this call came through, two things came through mind. One is the COVID-19 and people out of work, and the other one's just being a positive black influence in the community. And now having that picture gives you the confidence of, now I'm going to go out there, I'm going to try, I'm going to put my best foot forward, and it should help you be able to get some more opportunities.
And Jenkins says that the day is open to anyone who is looking for a job. He is asking that people sign up on his website just so he can keep track of everything. Reporting live in Dilworth, Ann Wyatt Little, Fox 46, getting results.
More details this morning regarding the protest in CMPD. The department's so concerned about the safety of one of its officers, he is being pulled off the protest line. Captain Brad Koch pushed by a protester and then taken to the ground outside the government center this week. CMPD says while Koch tried to arrest the protester who pushed him, several other protesters jumped in and tried to stop him. Police arrested one person, but officers say they are still looking for 5 other suspects.
In other news, new details as New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is calling out President Trump now for his tweets on the elderly man who was pushed to the ground in Buffalo. Here's the video of the incident that took place last week. Martin Gugino was severely injured and is still in the hospital this morning. Tuesday, President Trump tweeted that Gugino could be a, quote, Antifa provocateur, saying that he fell harder than he should. Governor Cuomo called it a reprehensible, dumb comment.
I mean, if there was ever a reprehensible, dumb comment, and from the President of the United States, at this moment of anguish and anger, what does he do? Pours gasoline on the fire.
President Trump did not respond to Cuomo's comments. The officers involved are currently suspended and have been charged with assault.
It is 8:12, and right now we need to check back in with our Chuck Rhodes to see how the roads are faring at this hour. Chuck.
Hey, Brigida, still dealing with problems in Myers Park. We got a section of Providence Road closed because of a large tree down in the roadway. Folks, consider Sharon Road, maybe even Randolph Road as alternate routes. Look at this large tree, folks, and it appears utility lines are affected as well. One of our guys here, Daniel, told us that, hey, the power went off for him. Internet service went out in this area around 1:30 this morning. So we think it's been there approaching about 7 hours right now. This section of Providence Road is closed just north of Wendover. So that means you'll use Randolph or Sharon Road as alternate routes. I'm betting lunchtime before they get it opened back up. Clearing an accident inbound Independence. This is good news. Looks like we're back to green conditions. I don't think you need an alternate route. 77 northbound. Earlier problem near the Brookshire. Now out of the travel lanes as well. Back to the studio.
Ahead here on Good Day Charlotte, did the World Health Organization get it wrong when it comes to saying asymptomatic transmission is rare? What doctors are now saying about that study in regards to COVID-19.